Okay, in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can place an InDesign document in an InDesign document. Okay, right now, we're looking at, I have two InDesign files open. I have this page layout right here that has columns of text. And then right next to it, I have this ad right here. This is a display ad. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this display ad and we're going to place it in this page layout. Now, conventional wisdom would say, oh, okay, well, what you need to do is you would need to export this um, InDesign ad right here as a PDF file or some sort of an art file, maybe a JPEG or PNG, and then bring it in as art so that you could come over here and you can say file and you can say place, and then you can just bring it in as either an image or again a PDF file. And as you can see, I have the PDF file right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those steps away and we're going to just bring that InDesign file directly into another InDesign file. And you'll see why we're going to do it and why it may not be a bad thing to do. All right, so first thing is what we're going to do is we have this ad right here. And as you can see, it has a bleed around it. All right, that's this red outline right here. I'll zoom in so you can see it. All right. This right here is the trim, and this right here represents the bleed. Okay. Now, we are going to bring this thing in, and we don't want the bleed. We want to bring it into the trim size. So let's come back here. And the process is going to be pretty much the same as you'd use to bring in an image, except for we have a few options. So right now, let's go down to File. We'll drop down to Place. All right. And then we're going to navigate our way to the actual ad in InDesign that we're going to bring in. And you want to make sure you have Show Import Options checked. So we'll say Open. All right. And as you can see, right now we have the page bounding box. And you have an option. You can bring it in with the bleed. As you can see, it expanded to include the bleed. But we want the page bounding box. So it just comes in to the trim. So we'll say OK. Now, remember, if you just click and drop, it'll bring it in at actual size. But what we want to do is we're going to click and drag. And when we click and drag, what will happen is it will scale it to whatever size we release. When we release our mouse, that will be whatever size it'll be. So now I can take this, much like if it were if it was just an art image, and let's say I want to align it to the bottom of the page. Now you might say, well, why is this important? Well, let's say, for example, there's a change within the InDesign file on the ad. Well, what you can do now is whether you're in the selection tool or even in the direct selection tool, when you mouse over, you'll see you get the little donut right there. If you're on the Mac, you can double click. You can put your finger on the Option and the Command key or the Alt and the Control key if you're in the PC. I'm on a Mac, Option Command. You can double click and voila, it will open it up in the native application. So you can change anything here. Let's say, for example, maybe I want to get rid of support. All right, so I can delete that. I can save it. Now I come back here, and when I get back to the page layout, and if you zoom in, it has been updated. So you can't do that if you bought in an art image or PDF file. So now you can actually bring it in as you would bring in an image, and you can also edit it if needs be. So that's how you can bring an InDesign document into an InDesign document and the importance of being able to do so.